All right, let's pop over to Wall Street now. We've seen a lot of volatility in the market, and today major indices, as you can see in early trading, tumbled. And yesterday, President Trump was asked if he's worried that we could see a recession, and he said we could see a period of transition.
I think the tariffs are going to be the greatest thing we've ever done as a country. It's going to make our country rich again. We have many companies, as you know, auto companies are opening up plants now. 4 or 5 announced already, but many more are coming. All I know is this: we're going to take in hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs, and we're going to become so rich, you're not going to know where to spend all that money. I'm telling you, you just watch. We're going to have jobs, we're going to have open factories, it's going to be great.
All right, let's bring in CBS News business contributor Javier David. Javier, what are you seeing on Wall Street right now? The numbers don't look good.
Well, we're kind of awash in the sea of red. Benchmarks are at their lowest levels of the year. 70% of the S&P 500 stocks are off 10% or more from their 52-week highs. So this is classic risk-off sentiment. Everything is falling, including bond yields, which in an ideal world would be a good thing, except for the fact that investors are now terrified we're heading for a recession and that a global tariff war will be the reason why we get there.
Yeah, there's been a lot of anxiety about these tariffs on Wall Street. But over the weekend, United Auto Workers President Shawn Fain came out, and he actually was in support of them. Let's listen to his comments.
We're in a crisis mode. And, we are triaging right now. So I hear this debate about, blanket tariffs and all this stuff. But look, we're in a triage situation. Tariffs are an attempt to stop the bleeding from the hemorrhaging of jobs in America for the last 33 years. So, and as we speak right now, decisions are still being made. Warren Truck Plant right here in Michigan, there's over 2,000 people laid off. And a simple decision, Stellantis is shifting truck production to Mexico. They could change overnight and move those trucks right back here to Warren, Michigan, and put people back to work. You have Deere workers in Racine, Wisconsin. We have Mack truck workers in Allentown, Pennsylvania, where the companies saying they're going to move their jobs to Mexico. So tariffs aren't the end solution, but they are a huge factor in creating and fixing this problem.
Javier, he says they're necessary to stop the bleeding. I want to get your reaction to that.
Yeah, a few things. The space of a few months, what the president is trying to do is execute a pivot of a long-term trend that's been unfolding over decades, which is the shifting of manufacturing abroad. He's banking on this short-term pain translating into long-term gain, but this is a really huge gamble. It's a bold one for a candidate that staked sort of his whole candidacy, or at least part of his candidacy, on this idea that markets were embracing him, and it was a positive endorsement of his policies. So based on what the UAW president just said, I would say that too. I'd be supportive if my industry were receiving favorable policy treatment. Agriculture might get some sort of exemption too, but retailers and technologies companies certainly are not. And that sort of raises basic questions of fairness, transparency. Markets don't know where the end game is for all of these tariffs. And it raises questions about sort of cronyism and being able to pick and choose the winners and losers.
Yeah, there's concern over the tariffs, but there's also a lot of uncertainty with the president's approach to all of this. Much of it has to do with the policy, frankly, constantly changing day by day. What are the potential downsides to just having that volatility?
Yeah, the downside, look, markets are always trying on some level to send us a message of sorts, and markets tend to overreact and sometimes they underreact. But what we're seeing now is a market that's not healthy. It is very much trying to get ahead of what it feels is going to be a couple of things. One, a significant economic downturn. I won't use the recession word, but there's a lot of talk about stagflation. Two, the whole idea that a lot of the president made this comment that he believes that tariffs will, usher in a gusher of money and we're going to make so much money. A lot of that is going to be paid by consumers. Consumers are very upset and still very much struggling under the weight of inflation. And this is not going to alleviate that problem. This will make it worse because companies are trying to get ahead of all of these prices that they think are coming based on the tariffs.
Yeah, a lot of these small businesses especially are concerned. Javier David, thank you so much.